Hi guys, good morning. Siddharth here, and welcome to my channel Common Sense Uncommon. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a personal experience of mine which I've been through. Just to give you a background, I was in the army and I retired as a colonel. So, what happens is when any army guy comes out of the army, he is faced with a two pronged dilemma. On the one hand, he feels that, he's got a world of opportunities ahead of him. On the other hand, he knows that he's got nothing in hand. So what happens is he tries to project himself. Now, how do you project yourself? By making a good CV or a resume. So he goes to all these, job portals and starts applying Ref Light Center, and he contacts a couple of CV specialists, and he says, "Okay, make a good CV of mine. This is my data." Now, this CV making process is also pretty hilarious. It is something like a matchmaking. Now, what happens in matrimony sites are, the boy or the girl or their parents, as the case may be, they say that, my boy is so and so, he studied so and so, he is this, that, working in this company, future very bright, 6 foot tall, well built, and all that thing. Likewise for the girl also. So in a CV, you're doing nothing but that only. You're also trying to find a match for yourself. Match in this case means a job. So, anyway, the CV is done, and after that, you start applying left, right, center. In most of the cases, it's only apply, apply, and no reply. But sometimes, you do get lucky, and then you get called up for a couple of interviews. So then you start going to these interviews to find a new job for yourself. Now, what happens is every company has got this HR department. They are the ones who hire and fire people. Now, the people manning the HR, they are unique specimens. I'll tell you why. They know firstly nothing about the army, but they want a senior guy to manage their security. Now, what that basically implies is they want you to manage their gate, the main gate, and the people who are coming in and going out, and those 25, 30 odd people who are employed as security guards in the company or in the plant. So you go to them and then you give an interview, and they say we want a very senior officer. It's a very high level job and full of responsibility, this, that, and all that crap. And then if found suitable, you get hired. So what happens is that you are given a small cabin, which is by the side of the main gate, just attached to the public urinal of the company, and you're supposed to sit there and see who's coming in and who's going out. And you have these 25, 30 guards under you, and what these guys do is these guys come every 4 hours and offer you a cup of tea and say ki saab everything is okay. Now so far so good. Now the problem crops up is when there is a strife in the company, or there is a fight, or there is a labor related issue, or something like that, which the HR oblique IR oblique whatever are, they are not able to solve. That is when you come into play. They say, they conveniently pass the buck on to the security head and say ki, Colonel Saab, now you have to manage this. This is your portfolio. Firstly, nobody told you anything about any portfolio when they hired you. But anyway, and the best part is you are absolutely clueless in managing these affairs. But then what happens is, since you've come from the army, you have two things in common and in abundance. One is basic common sense, and the other is pure logic. And because of this, you are able to perceive a situation quite clearly. And once you perceive a situation clearly, you are bound to find a solution to it. So, gradually, what happens is you solve this issue. and that is how you gain experience. And having gained the experience, after a couple of years, you sort of, do job hopping, and that is how you progress. In this, what I want to say is that, the first thing that should be there, and by the way, everybody doesn't, go through this. They are not so lucky. A large number of people whom I know who came out of the army, they are without jobs, or they are not able to stick on to jobs because of various factors. Adaptability issue, the work ethos doesn't match, the work culture doesn't match. So all these issues. In my opinion, what should be there is that, before an army guy, whether he's an officer or a lower rank, before he decides to come out, he should forward an application to the resettlement office of the army and check from them whether there are job opportunities for him outside or not. This should be done even before he puts up his application for discharge, or before his time is up in the army, much before that. And everybody should be groomed. That is, in case if they want to find opportunities outside once they retire, they should be groomed according to their capabilities to find a job outside. It should not be ki there are 4 5 courses, do any one of them and then move on. That's how things are bound to fail. So anyway, this is one, and the other thing I want to tell you is that, a very funny thing I came to know. Whenever you go to a company, these guys, they genuinely sort of feel that you've done nothing there, but you've caught a gun. Invariably, they say an AK-47 or something like that, and you have stood on the borders for the entire length of your service. And that's it. And I was pretty amazed because every company that I went to, the HR guy says, "Sir, you were in the army, you would have been in the borders throughout." I said, "Yes, I've done my share of that also." And you have to stand there with a gun, isn't it? I said, "Absolutely. You have to stand there with the gun. You can't sit with the gun there because there is no place to sit." so, so the perception of the army outside is at a pretty low level because they don't actually understand that army doesn't mean only carrying a gun and fighting. There is a whole lot of planning, strategy, logistics, everything that goes into it. And so an army officer or anybody of any rank who comes out of the army generally has a sea of experience in various aspects, which is generally not put to use once he leaves the army and finds employment outside. So anyway, that is one, and I just wanted to bring this out because the solution to this, like I said, is it lies within the army, and it also lies in general society. In the army, because the resettlement department should be geared up to groom the people who are coming out. As of present, they are not. It is just a question of doing a couple of courses here and there and then moving on. No, that is not how it should work. You should be groomed to come out of the army because you see, after all, why is the army there? The army is there because the country has a number of enemies, and some organization has to be there to safeguard the territorial and sovereignty of the country, the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the country. That is what is done by the armed forces. So a guy who comes out needs to be treated properly. He or she should be groomed for suitable employment outside. And that is the only solution. And that only the army can do through its resettlement department. Anyway, that is one. So, this is one thing to ponder on. And of course, the general society is that, the awareness of what army personnel do of various ranks should also be there, because that is basically a question of PR, which is terribly lacking. So, anyway, that's for a different day altogether. So signing out, guys, for today. We'll be back soon with another, such similar story. Till then, keep smiling, have a blast as ever. Bye.